Good morning, Coach Slack here once again, continuing our readings on the ascetical homilies of St. Isaac the Syrian. We're on day 37, continuing homily 4, page 151. When you do good to someone, do not await a recompense from him, and you will receive repayment from God on both accounts. And if you are able, neither do good so as to receive reward in the future age, but rather practice virtue because of the love of God. The rank of love is more initiated than the rank of labor for God, and it is more initiated in its mystery than the soul surpasses the body in initiation. If you make poverty a rule for your soul, and by God's grace you are freed from cares, and by your poverty you are exalted above this world, then beware lest you become enamored of possessions under the pretext of almsgiving, due to your love for the poor. And thus, by taking from one man in order to give to another, you put your soul in turmoil once again, and efface your honor by subjection to men while begging from them, and lose the freedom and nobility of your mind through your concern for matters of this life. For your station is higher than that of the almsgiver. Do not, I beseech you, do not accept such subjection. Almsgiving is like the rearing of children, but stillness is the summit of perfection. If you have possessions, distribute them at once, but if you have none, do not desire any. Sweep your cell clean of every delicacy and superfluous article, and this will lead you to abstinence even against your will. Scarcity in all things teaches a man patience, but whenever we enjoy possessions, we are unable to control ourselves. Those who have gained the victory in the exterior war have acquired confidence against interior fear, and there is nothing that can vexedly compel them. They are not harassed by warfare, either from in front or from behind. By exterior warfare, I mean that which a man heedlessly brings upon himself through the senses, that is, through giving out and receiving. There's a footnote here. I.e. by worldly dealings, through hearing and seeing, and through speech, taking food, and a gradual, persistent increase of one's affairs. When such things overlie the soul, they blind her, and because of turmoil from without, she is unable to give heed to herself during the onslaught of hidden warfare, and because of her serenity, to conquer them that suddenly attack her from within. For when a man has barred the city gates, that is, the senses, he fights within, face to face, and does not fear those devising evil outside the city. So as per usual, several things are coming to mind as I'm reading this page. Right off the bat, when you do good to someone, do not await a recompense from him. And I talk about this a lot. I think this is a big theme with me, and I think it's important for all of us, right? Whenever we feel motivated to do something or inspired or something, you're making an action or about to, I think it's very important to delve within ourselves and to search out our own motivation, right? As we mentioned many times, the three motivations that exist in the world being fear, reward, and love. So just simply asking ourselves these questions. Am I doing this out of fear of something or another? Am I doing this for some sort of reward that I'm expecting by doing this? Or am I doing this simply for the love of it, right? The most important case being, am I trying to reciprocate God's love by displaying the same love to my fellow human beings and to my stewardship of the things that God has allowed me to be involved with. And he goes on, and he expounds upon this very thing. Neither do good so as to receive reward in the future age, but rather practice virtue because of the love of God. So again, we're seeing that very clearly there. Then he's saying the rank of love is more initiated than the rank of labor for God. So again, thinking of St. James, faith without works is fruitless, and works, oh, wait a minute, my bad. Works without faith are fruitless, and faith without works is dead. So again, he's kind of giving a hierarchy, let's just say, of where love and labor stand, but they are both important, as he mentions in ranks. And obviously, as we continue that first paragraph, again, we have to remind ourselves that mostly his intended audience was other ascetics, right? Ascetical homilies. So, when we start seeing, for your station is higher than as an almsgiver, stillness is the summit of perfection. If you have possessions, just distribute them at once. Sweep your cell clean of every delicacy and superfluous article. So again, as my spiritual father reminds me often, you're not living in the desert in the 6th and 7th century. You're not an ascetic hidden away in some cave. I'm a married man with children, with responsibilities, occupations, a house, vehicles. So my responsibilities are certainly different than that of an ascetic or a hermit somewhere. But nonetheless, we can use these examples in our own layperson existence. If I'm someone with 8, 9, 10, 12, 15 coats in my closet, and we're certainly passing up people every day are put in front of us who perhaps have none, whether it's knowing or unknowingly to us. And if we're distracted with our own desires every day, maybe we're missing seeing the needs of others that God places in close proximity to us. And then this last paragraph of this page, I think, is very important to wrap our minds around, right? Those who have gained the victory in the exterior war have acquired confidence against interior fear, and there is nothing that can vexedly compel them. They are not harassed by warfare, either from in front or from behind. So again, the distractions of this life, worldly things. I want a bigger house, I want a nicer car, I want more money. These types of wants, right, are, we can find being diversions, from God's will, or what is more importantly needed by us, not necessarily what we want, right? Separating our wants and our needs. And, when we're talking about peace and purpose, which everyone is searching for, including myself all the time, that's within. Peace comes from within. And so the diversions and distractions from without, through the senses, the temptations of the world are, like I said, they're being diversions and distractions, and sometimes causing us to live superficially on the surface rather than delving into the depths. Like, what is my motivation? A self-examination, noticing what thoughts lead to our sins, and what sparks maybe divert us or distract us from true purpose, right? An honorable and edifying purpose, rather than just like I mentioned, a superficial exterior purpose of, maybe motivated by our ego, where we want to appear a certain way, or rather than truly being a certain way. And when such things overlie the soul, they blind her, and because of turmoil from without, she is unable to give heed to herself during the onslaught of hidden warfare. And because of her serenity, in other words, our peace within, to conquer them that suddenly attack her from within. So again, I think that if someone is watching a video this long on the ascetical homilies of St. Isaac the Syrian, then I think that type of person would agree that there is certainly a spiritual warfare going on between good and evil. And I think this is something that's generally accepted, but, just my observations that in general society, perhaps the tendency is to be led away from this, or to try to deny the reality of this, or exclude ourselves, or hide from it, or run from it, or to pretend it's not there or something. And if there's a warfare occurring and you're caught unaware, then you're certainly going to be taken by surprise, right? I mean, just imagine a real physical war. If 10,000 soldiers showed up at a fort of 1,000 that are just kind of, living day to day and not preparing themselves, they're going to be easily overtaken, right? But even 1,000 to 10,000 fortified and preparing daily, and making sure that they have a plan of attack and a daily strengthening, could defend themselves, right? For when a man has barred the city gates, that is the senses, he fights within face to face, and does not fear those devising evil outside the city. So what are the city gates? I like to think of it as, living in the world, we're not going to stop the temptations and the distractions and the things that are coming to our senses. It's a part of living, right? But as one of my spiritual fathers taught me once, kind of put up some floodgates where we can filter what's actually going to our heart from our mind, So that's where, barring the city gates, that is the senses. So as things enter our senses, catch them at there. We taste something that's good that maybe it's not necessarily good for us. We've got to recognize that right then and filter that. We're seeing something that seems delightful or delicious or something to our appetite, whatever that may be, but we know it's not good for our soul or our health. We got to catch it right there. We're hearing things that are unedifying, that are kind of probably planting not so healthy seeds. It's like growing a garden. We put our vegetable and fruit seeds in a garden, that's good, but when the weeds and the thorns and these types of things, seeds fall into our garden, we've got to catch those early and take those out, right? So it doesn't overtake our garden, right? So there's a lot of important things on each one of these pages that help us get through our daily struggles and to prepare us for eternity, right? Because that's the ultimate task at hand during this life, is to, this life is, as my elder often reminds me, is, when you blink an eye, it's this existence in terms of eternity is less than the flicker of your eyelash during that blink. Not even the blink itself, the flicker of your eyelash as you were about to blink. That's the worldly existence that we have right now. And in that moment of existence compared to eternity is what we're preparing for. And to not waste that moment, right? In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.